Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily as we're calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn out to poem 611, I See Thee Better in the Dark. Now, this is, some people have called this one of Emily's strangest poems. One scholar has called it, said these lines are laden with erotic potential, which is bizarre to read the poem that way, and yet I think there's a capacity for that. Is this another Sam Boyle's poem or another Sue poem? It's very possible. The scholar Priest has pointed out that when Sam Boyles finally came back from his Europe trip of 1862, apparently Emily couldn't see him. Boyles will say couldn't summon the courage to see him. So she stayed in her room. And it's possible, Priest goes on to argue, that in this poem, she tries to console herself by arguing that absence and the dark are as powerful stimulants to love as the light of the loved one's presence. I'm gonna leave it to you to decide this one. Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily. I'm hopeful you worked through our set of introductory comments. I'm hopeful that you've worked through the preceding 610 poems. We just finished with 610. You'll find it when you try to die. Now, I want to point out the repetition of the phrase, I see thee. And again, we don't know who the thee is. Is it Sam? Is it Sue? Is it somebody else? We just don't know. This is how she says it though. I see thee better in the dark. I do not need a light. The love of thee, a prism be, excelling violet. I see thee better for the years that hunch themselves between. The miner's lamp sufficient be to nullify the mind. And in the grave, I see thee best. Its little panels be aglow, all ruddy with the light I held so high for thee. What need of day to those whose dark hath so surpassing sun? It deem it be continually at the meridian? Now, again, this is a fascinating poem because it isn't clear who the thee of this poem is. For example, when we did our talks with Walt at LearnStrong.net, all poems of the Deathbed edition, 1892 edition, of Whitman's Leaves of Grass. In Song of Myself, several times we pointed out, Whitman, the poet, speaks directly to his soul in ways that would sound very similar to this. It is interesting that often with our study of Emily's poetry, we normally think of the thee in her poems as being an actual person, and then we obviously love to try to imagine who it is. Is it Sam Boyles? Is it Sue? Who is it? Whatever it is, she'll say, I see thee better in the dark. Now, this phraseology is going to come back when we do our study of poem 1666. I see thee clearer for the grave, that took thy face between, no mirror could illumine thee like that impassive stone. I know thee better for the act that made thee first unknown. The stature of the empty nest attests the bird that's gone. It's a brilliant word picture. She says it this way, I see thee better in the dark. Now we're going to go from the dark to the light and then back to the dark at the end of the poem, right? I do not need a light. Now, of course, Emily loved her reading of Plato's Republic, and especially Book 7, and the whole cave allegory. We've given full lectures on it at LearnStrong.net. Is she playing games here with that one? Notice she says, I don't need a light. Why? Because the love of thee, dash, a prism be, dash, excelling violet, dash. In other words, I don't need light to see you, because all I need is the flame of love itself. I see thee better, we're back to the phrase again, for the years, notice capitalize that, hunch. By the way, the verbs here are brilliant. You'll remember hunch from 287 and 570, the only other time she uses this, that hunch themselves between, right? The miner's lamp sufficient be to nullify the mind. Nullify only used once in her poetry, and it's here. To nullify the mind. In other words, she says, all I need, I have in my love for you. And I have had it in prior life and over the years. And now let's think about the grave, which obviously takes us back to the poem we just did, 610. And in the grave, notice, I see thee not better but best. It's an interesting line, and many scholars have kind of pointed out the strange language of this poem. I'm going to see you better in the dark of the coffin. Notice the coffin. Its little panels be aglow. I told you about her use of this word little in 172 of her poems, obviously often emphasizing her own smallness, her own fragility. She says its little panels be aglow, in the coffin aglow. Why? Because already with the light I held so high for thee. In other words, I can see in the dark. Okay, I can see in the dark because I have a certain love. Notice the use of the word Rudy here. What need of day, now she'll ask a rhetorical question, to those whose dark, so notice we go from dark to light to dark, hath so surpassing sun, hear all the S sounds here, it deem it be continually at the meridian. In other words, when I think of you in the grave, I think of the love that I have for you that will go on and on, unlike the sun, which obviously rises and then sets. I think her message here at 2a is that true love overcomes the grave, lives beyond it. At 2b, the verbs here, especially hunch and nullify, are remarkable. And then the repetition, of course, of I see thee. Now, I think we mentioned in 3a, 1666, but I think what's actually behind this is Emily's favorite poet, Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And Sonnet 43 from the Songs of the Portuguese. Emily knew this poem well, and of course it was a very popular poem in Emily's day. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the breadth and depth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall not love thee better after death. I think the key word of that entire poem is the word better. And I think that this is where probably Emily is borrowing or channeling her favorite poet. Of course, as we've said in earlier discussions about Elizabeth Barrett Browning, she had one of the only pictures in her room was a picture of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Finally, at 3b, who is the person in your life who, for you, because of your love for them, will outlive death? Thank you.